Ferdinand Magellan was the first person to reach Asia and the Indian Ocean by sailing a westward route through the newly discovered Americas and across the mysterious sea that lay on the other side of the world. His voyage was groundbreaking, and he made discoveries of lasting importance. Magellan was born to a noble Portuguese family around 1480. At this time, spices like nutmeg, cloves, and black pepper were the most important commodities in the world, but these spices only grew on tiny islands called the Moluccas in present-day Indonesia. Kings and sultans battled throughout the Indian Ocean for access to these islands, and sailors explored daring and dangerous routes to reach the islands. At the age of 10, Magellan became a page for the Portuguese queen, Leonora, learning astronomy, navigation, and map-making. In 1505, he joined the Portuguese Armada and spent 8 years conquering ports in East Africa and India so that Portugal could gain control of the Indian Ocean and the spice trade. After nearly a decade of constant fighting for eastern access to the Moluccas, Magellan started considering a westward route. He believed that the islands lay only a few days' sail past the New World and hoped that a passage through the continent would prove to be a shorter and safer route to the spices. In 1514, he petitioned King Manuel I of Portugal for the chance to lead a westward expedition to the Moluccas. King Manuel refused, and in 1517, Magellan renounced his Portuguese citizenship and went to Spain to seek support from King Charles I. Realizing that such a voyage would give the Spanish open access to the Moluccas without having to travel across areas controlled by the Portuguese, King Charles granted Magellan the expedition to find a route through the New World. On September 20th, 1519, Magellan sailed from Spain with 5 ships and 270 men. He crossed the Atlantic and sailed down the coast of South America until reaching a storm-lashed strait, now known as the Strait of Magellan, near the bottom of the continent, a passage through the New World. But by this point of his journey, he'd lost one ship at sea and another had deserted. Still, Magellan persevered and entered the strait on October 21st, 1520. After 38 days of torturous sailing through cold and fog, the 3 remaining ships emerged into still waters. Relieved, Magellan named the ocean Mar Pacífico, Portuguese for peaceful sea. He anticipated a quick journey to the Moluccas, but Magellan, unwittingly, had set course to cross the largest ocean on the planet, more than twice the size of the Atlantic. Month after month, the little fleet sailed across the immense ocean. Finally, after 99 grueling days without rest or fresh food, Magellan landed on the island now called Guam. After resting and replenishing at Guam, Magellan sailed to Cebu, now part of the Philippines, en route to the Moluccas. There, he befriended the island's chief and established the first Spanish alliance in the Pacific. Magellan agreed to fight alongside the Cebu chief against the chief of a neighboring island. But on April 27, 1521, Magellan was killed in the battle. The fleet navigator, Juan Sebastián Elcano, led the remaining crew to the Moluccas. He loaded the one remaining ship with spices and decided to sail back to Spain on the well-established westward route. Magellan had never intended to circle the globe, and yet, when the Victoria sailed into Spain on September 8, 1522, nearly 3 years after embarking, the expedition had completed the first circumnavigation of Earth and profoundly changed history. Magellan's expedition gave the first true record of the distribution of oceans and continents. He discovered the enormity of the Pacific Ocean, the vastness of the planet. And yet, by finding the strait that now bears his name, the one that links the Atlantic and the Pacific, east and west, the new and the old, he showed how connected the world could become.